This is TWiT.
There were some leaked Geekbench results.
Ooh.
Yeah, and this happens from time to time, right? Where, and I don't know, maybe you guys have a better idea, where either it's somebody who has the new Apple MacBook accidentally, because when you do a Geekbench benchmark, if you're not careful, it can upload it to the public site where everybody can see the numbers. It could be that somebody did that by accident. It could be Apple leaked it on purpose. It could be completely faked.
Yeah.
But it's impressive as hell. It's for an A14x. We would expect, in fact, the A14, which is the current chip in the iPad Air and the new iPhones, would have a special desktop variant. It clocks at 1.8 gigahertz, can turbo boost to 3.1 gigahertz, which would mean it's the first time ever any Apple Silicon gets over 3. 8 cores. That's about what you'd expect, too. They've got 6 cores in the iPhone 12. This one had 8 gigs of RAM, although, I'm sorry, the GPU had 8 gigs of RAM. So this sounds like a pretty heavy-duty machine. And it outscored the i9 Intel Apple MacBook Pro, both in single-core and multi-core performance. Dan, maybe you have some experience with this. Could this be fake?
It could be fake. It's impossible to know, but it could very well be real. Like you said, it kind of pegs in where we would expect it to be. The A14X would be expected because that would probably be the same chip that would end up in any new iPad Pro as well. Usually the X variant is what you see in the iPads after they debut the sort of standard variant in the iPhones. So a lot of people speculating that, what we see in an iPad Pro might also show up in a laptop. And as you said, it kind of outpaces basically every Mac laptop on the market right now, which is not a bad place to be. And we don't even know, what configuration, what variant is that, right? Like if they're talking about both a MacBook Air and a MacBook Pro, is this the Pro version? Is it the Air version? What is going to be the functional difference between these things? So
we'll be watching.
There's a lot of possibility here, but certainly exciting to look at something and be like, well, if even the base level is going to be faster than everything on the market right now, what does the high end look like?
Right. Well, definitely on your bingo cards, you should have the phrase all-day battery life, right? Because that's what you get with these kinds of chips is much better power curve, and perhaps maybe 30% improvement in performance. That's the kind of number Apple likes. They don't like doing benchmarks. They don't like giving you benchmark numbers, but they like saying things like 30% better performance.
I think the last thing they had said, like when they were talking benches, was like their chips are twice as fast as the most popular Windows laptop, right? I think that's what it was for when they were talking about the new iPad. So, and then we don't know. Like the thing about Apple's, even once we get the actual spec from them, we won't have the actual stats
say.
or numbers.
Yeah, someone will have to break it down.
We'll have to wait till we get them. Somebody will, the one thing I do remember, because I have bought several now of the i9 MacBook Pros, was when it first came out, the YouTuber who benchmarked it in the freezer, because the thermals are so terrible on the thing that you could, as soon as it got fast, it could only be very bursty, quick, because as soon as it got fast, it would heat up so much they had to say, oh, no, slow down. So
keep in mind that none of the existing, A series devices have active cooling in them, right? Phones, iPads, Apple TV, there's no active cooling systems in those things. There's no fans. So if you can put an active cooling system in on top of it, think about what additional performance that lets you sort of eke out of it. If it's like, well, now that we can actually cool this chip down and it's not threatening to burn the entire laptop to the ground, we can eke so much more performance out of it.
That's what's going to be
very
interesting.
As a person who constantly has probably 100 or more Google Chrome tabs open at once, I truly wish that there was any cooling, because my laptop constantly sounds like it's about to take off into outer space.
Yeah. When your laptop spins up, the fans spin up because you're installing software, then you know it's time to get a better laptop. And a lot of the modern Windows 10 laptops, the fans are on at high volume a lot of the time. And I think that's an Intel flaw. That's why I think this is going to be very interesting. And I can guarantee you everybody's looking on the PC side, looking at this with interest. Not that they'll be able to get Apple Silicon, but at least maybe this can stimulate ARM chip development for Windows.
Yeah.
Microsoft.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a fanless laptops out of this, by the way, just because of the history of these processors. So we've seen like a couple. I think the last time I saw it was like Dell's XPS 13 2-in-1 from like 2 years ago. Was at least very, very quiet, and like it had a weird cooling system. So I guess we'll see. It was super underpowered because if it's fanless on Intel, you're running Y series probably. Yeah. And it's just slow as hell. So yeah.